That's good.
Excellent.
Jeff, I can just say introductory, and then if you want to add.
Yeah.
Okay.
There they are. See if I can
All right,
mute.
welcome everyone. We're letting everybody in from the waiting room, so
Hey, let me catch up with you
started
later.
in just a minute or so.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, so thanks, Les. I appreciate you. Bye-bye now.
As everybody's getting situated, if you could mute your microphone, that will help out.
Oh no, I'm glaring over here. No, it's too dark. Too dark. It's too dark.
Here, I will go on and mute everybody.
Jay, is that
People
is
out,
it good with people from the waiting room?
Okay, Mr. Chair, if you would please unmute yourself.
Beautiful. We're good to go with everybody in?
Still coming in.
Okay. We'll get through some of the initial stuff here. So welcome everyone. We're at 5:31 and today is a special meeting of the Human Rights Commission for the city of Palm Springs, Monday, February 8th, 2021. Looks like we have a quorum present. We will call the meeting to order officially. Right off the bat, item 3 on our agenda is public comment. And this time's been set aside for the public to address the Human Rights Commission on agenda items and the items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. 3 minutes is allowed for each speaker. Although the commission values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, it generally cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. Commissioners will not enter into discussion with the speakers, but during commission comments may refer the matter to staff for report and recommendation at a future meeting. So our first speaker that let's see if we've got him online, would be Captain Scott Grazer. Scott Grazer, are you on the line? All right, we will go to Council Member Jeff Coors.
Sorry, I was muted. I think
Start video. Hello, Scott Grasser here.
Oh, beautiful. All right, Scott, you're on and you've got 3 minutes. Thank you.
I'm introducing Lee now. Well, I have my
You're offering the congratulations. This is public comment section of the meeting. So you would just offer those 3 minutes of comments that you would like to make.
Go ahead. This. Yep. Okay, I'd like to, my name is Scott Grasser and I'm the third vice at the American Legion in Palm Springs. And I'm happy to introduce this evening, Lee Wilson. Lee is a 12-year combat veteran from the 12-year veteran from the United States Marine Corps, 1981 through 1993. Served in the Peace Corps in Poland for 2 years after that, and currently works at Cathedral City High School from 1997 to present as a teacher. He has a bachelor's degree from Arizona State University in the Russian language, as a master's in national security from Cal State San Bernardino, and he volunteers his time at the American Legion as historian. Thank you.
Captain, we appreciate it and thank you for your service. Next up for public comment will be Jeff Coors.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I think Mayor Holstead was going to speak first, and then I was going to speak after her, if that's okay.
Mayor is speaking at the beginning of the actual program, which is item 5.
Got it. Okay, well, I just want to extend my congratulations. What an amazing job the Human Rights Commission has done. Such great honorees this year. I see some past honorees as well, and this is always such a great event. It's totally sad at times we can't be in person, but it's great to see so many people coming out to support the Human Rights Commission's work and all of these really terrific honorees. So I just want to extend my congratulations. Thank you, Chair.
Excellent, thank you. All right, do we have any other public comment?
Mr. Chair, David Vignolo has his hand up.
Okay. Mr. Vignola, please go
Hey,
forward. Are you here for public comment?
Correct.
All right, well, you've got 3 minutes. Go ahead.
I don't need 3 minutes. I just wanted to raise a question, I guess, for the chair and the other committee members to think about. Perhaps you can update us at the next meeting, because I know this is not on the agenda, but I was just curious. I think there are still some vacancies on your commission, and I know that the process of filling those vacancies was somewhat delayed due to the pandemic and due to the, my understanding is due to the city council's focus on hiring of a city manager. Now that that's been announced, I look forward to maybe hearing from the chair and how the process will evolve for filling your current vacancies in the next maybe month or two. So that's all I wanted to comment on. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Jay, do we have any other folks? I can't see the hands, so.
I do not believe there are any others. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your hand or put a question or indicate in the chat if you would like to make public comments for the Human Rights Commission. Thank you.
Okay, we don't see any, so we'll move on to item 4, special recognition and acknowledgement of Black History Month. And I believe we've got Commissioner Andrade.
Thank you. As you all know, February marks Black History Month in the United States. It's an annual observation that began as a way to recognize the significant people and events in African American history, or actually initially in African history. Before Black History Month, there was a Negro History Month. It was created in 1915. It was about a half a century after the 13th Amendment to abolish slavery in America. The first Negro History Week was held in February of 1926 to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. The week evolved into Black History Month in the late 1960s. Palm Springs held its first Black History Parade in 1965. The Palm Springs Black History Committee has been creating and sponsoring local events since 1987. This year, our inability to hold a parade or a public celebration perhaps makes it even more important that we take the opportunity to acknowledge the achievements and contributions of Black Americans in every endeavor throughout history. And the Palm Springs Human Rights Commission is honored to join in the commemoration of Black History Month in our community. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Andrade. And I'd like to add on to that and say a big word of thanks to the President, Jarvis Crawford, and the Board of Directors for the Palm Springs Black History Committee for all the work they do, and especially for the caravan that they've got planned on February 27. You can get information on participating by going to the palmspringsblackhistory.org. It's going to be a very worthwhile experience if you've got the opportunity to participate. You'll learn about Black pioneers of our city, folks whose talents and perspectives really overcame the prejudices of earlier times. You're going to see some renowned architecture from Paul Williams, which includes the Town and Country Center and the landmark El Mirador Tower. The caravan will pass other significant highlights, including locations that Lawrence Crosley developed in Palm Springs. And it's going to end up at the Desert Highland Gateway Estates, the very first organized neighborhood in Palm Springs. And we're really congratulate the committee on the work that they're doing and putting together such a great caravan for the residents of our city. So thank you. As we move on, certainly because it is Black History Month, I'd like to place recognition to the very first chair of the Human Rights Commission, and that's Ron Oden. So Ron Oden was one of the first and founding members of what then was called the Blue Ribbon Committee that made the recommendation to City Council to establish the Human Rights Commission. And in addition to being the commission's first chairperson in 1995, he was elected to the Palm Springs City Council. In 2003, he was elected mayor of Palm Springs, and his election was significant because both of his race and his sexual orientation. Oden was the very first openly gay African-American elected to lead a California city, and he served our city with distinction. So we say thank you to Ron, and we congratulate him because last year he was also a recipient of one of the Community Service Awards from the city and the Human Rights Commission. Okay, now we move on to item 5, and this is the official part of our program, which we normally do at the council chambers and have a very packed group of folks. And I'm really pleased to see we've got nearly 100 people participating in today's meeting to provide support for the honorees in this year's program. First, we will have a welcome from our mayor, Christy Holstage.
Hi, thank you all for being here. I want to welcome everyone to the City of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission Annual Community Service Awards. This is such an important event for our community, and though it's sad not to be together, I think it's such a message from the community to have 100 people here on Zoom to support the honorees and the recipients and also the work of the Human Rights Commission. So I could speak for 15 minutes about each of the recipients. I know them all personally. They've changed the face of our city. They've done incredible work for our residents and for our entire community to push human rights forward. So in order not to spend 20 minutes talking about each and every one of them, they're so incredible. We thank you for all of your work, and thank you to the Human Rights Commission. And I urge everyone to continue to support the commission and get involved in human rights here in Palm Springs. And we're so grateful to each and every one of you for all of your work. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'd like to also acknowledge we've got 2 other council members participating with us today. We've got Jeff Coors and we have Council Member Grace Gardner participating on the call with us. Also, commissioners that are on the call and participating today, our Vice Chair, Denise Chappelle, Terry Andrade, Glenn Flood, Donna Shepard, Edward Romeron, and our student representative, Ella Cash. So today's meeting is the opportunity really for the human rights community in all its diversity to come together and understand the values that drive the work that we all do all year long to make Palm Springs the place, the city, and the village that it is that we all love. We welcome our staff colleagues, Annie Rodriguez, our Housing Program Assistant, and Jay Verada, the Director of Community and Economic Development. I'm Rhonda Hart, and I'm a resident of Palm Springs, a proud, gay, married, Mexican, father of 2, and I serve as the chairperson of the Human Rights Commission. Related to our mission to promote and protect the diversity of our community and to improve human relations through education and community awareness, the Human Rights Commission would like to acknowledge the land that we live on and we work in at the beginning of today's meeting. The original homelands of the Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians. The sovereign band of Agua Caliente people have stewarded this land throughout the generations and continue to steward this land for all future generations. We honor and respect the many diverse indigenous peoples still connected to this land on which we live and gather as a community. This meeting marks the 28th anniversary of the City of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission. As a short introduction, here's a video about the commission. Thank you, Jay. And we're fortunate and honored to have with us Miss Claudette Bradley, a classically trained pianist who served in the Marines as a pianist musician. Miss Claudette is coming to us tonight from the Palm Springs American Legion Owen Kaufman Post 519. Miss Claudette, the stage is yours.
Hello and good evening. Hello and good evening, everyone. I'm here at the American Legion in Palm Springs, and I'm sitting in front of this beautiful Steinway piano. It was built in 1905. It was donated to the American Legion by the Girl Scouts of America in 1948. And it has hosted the veritable who's who of Hollywood. Stars like Jack Benny, Doris Day, David Niven, Judy Garland. All these people have performed here on this very same piano. So I'm very lucky to be taking care of it now. And I'm going to play just a small excerpt from a lovely piece called Harmony of the Angels.
Yay, beautiful. Thank you very much.
I do enjoy it.
Today is about our community. We celebrate the contributions and achievements with the City of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission Community Service Awards. The city, our community, organizations, and every individual play a critical role in ensuring fundamental rights are realized for all residents. Since the commission was established 28 years ago with a mandate to monitor the city's performance in meeting its human rights obligations, our role then and now is to promote respect for the rights and dignity of everyone in Palm Springs and to work with others to help build communities that are fair and inclusive. This is the backbone of our work. Through the years, when people face discrimination, harassment, or human rights breaches, the Commission has been there to provide information and to mediate complaints. Many positive changes have taken place, but in today's political climate, we see real changes and challenges remain. Human rights is not ancient history. It's about today's reality of suffering and unjust actions. We seek constructive, respectful conversations to try and bridge these differences, not only for the government and private sector. We all have a role to account for compliance with human rights laws and basic principles that prohibit discrimination on the grounds of age, sex, race, color, religion, or national origin, gender, gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, or disability. At all times, our vision must remain focused. Working together, we can make human rights a reality for everyone, everywhere, every day. The Commission has been engaged in the community from its very beginning. In October of 1993, the Human Rights Commission led discussions on racial tension in the community, facilitated communication between Sunline and the disability community, and we held a public forum on the media and discrimination. Early areas of focus of the Commission included domestic abuse, hate crimes, protection of senior citizens, and access to housing for all. In 1999, the Commission was instrumental in working with the City Council to adopt the Declaration of Policy for the Protection of Human Dignity and the Prevention of Hate Crimes. The next year, the Domestic Partnership Ordinance was presented to Council and approved on January 5th, 2000. Culminating the efforts of the Human Rights Commission to address homeless issues in the city, on May 3rd, 2000, the Council adopted a policy addressing the issues of poverty and the homeless. The Commission has provided community education, training, and forums where numerous topics have been addressed, including homelessness, mental illness, elder abuse, supporting caregivers, preventing domestic abuse, the DREAM Act, and women's participation in city government. The Commission has responded to important issues such as the 9/11 tragedy and increased substance abuse among young people. In 2002, the Commission was the first city commission to establish a position for youth representatives to serve. This tradition continues today, now with youth service open on other city commissions. After laws passed in 2000 and 2001 by the state mandating school districts to provide safe school environments for all students, the Commission led the effort to provide training for Palm Springs High School students so they could establish the very first gay-straight alliance on campus. The commission even assisted in submitting the application so the campus GSA would be recognized as part of the national GSA network. There are now 55 GSAs throughout Palm Springs and Coachella Valley and the high desert. The commission was also actively engaged in Hate-Free Millennium Mural Project at the Ramon Academy, which was dedicated in December of 2002. Ongoing opportunities to educate have included presentations on religious intolerance, women's issues, the Patriot Act, civil liberties, hate crimes, gay veterans, court-appointed special advocates, ageism, cultural proficiency, human trafficking, gender-neutral bathrooms, transgender rights, racism in our community, and persons with disabilities. And recently, we invited the Palm Springs Unified School District to speak on current measures our schools have in place to achieve safe and supportive school experiences for all youth. Reaching out by hosting forums in recent years has included discussions on immigration, First Amendment freedom of speech, the Second Amendment, the Eighth Amendment Human Rights Month, and assisting senior citizens. In early 2017, the Homelessness Subcommittee report was submitted to the City Council by then Commissioner Holstage, who's now serving as mayor. The report reviewed one of the most referenced concerns the commission has had over 28 years, our homeless population. Our findings on the rights of seniors and dependent adults was also submitted to council in our most recent annual report. So where does the commission go from here? This dedicated commission will continue to go from strength to strength. We are currently supporting the city's Equity and Diversity Committee, exploring street naming, and looking at City Council's role in supporting and implementing international human rights principles locally. Since the Community Service Awards were first presented on December 6, 2001, they have had a high standard and a rich history of inspiration and prestigious award winners. The 2021 Human Rights Commission Community Service Awards are presented to some extraordinary individuals and an organization who have made outstanding contributions to our community. They shine a light on injustice and give a voice to those who are rarely heard. They work to stop racism, to save our natural and cultural resources. They advocate for older people. They promote fair and respectful treatment for women. They fight to end discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. And they work to close the gap on health and food insecurity. If you can say nothing or do nothing, nothing changes. The honorees are not the say nothing kind of people. They are the heart of our community. I have the pleasure now of introducing Commissioner Edwin Romaran, who will introduce our first honoree for today.
Thank you, Chair DeHart. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights recognizes the right to food as a basic human right. It is generally acknowledged that hunger is both a violation of human dignity and an obstacle to social, political, and economic progress. Our first honoree is recognized for providing children, working families, seniors, and the homeless who face hunger with healthy, nutritious food resources to strengthen household stability and raise the quality of their lives. During this pandemic, many Coachella Valley residents are struggling to make ends meet, and Find Food Bank has provided and continues to provide fresh food to Palm Springs area residents who need assistance. Prior to COVID-19, 90,000 residents were supported, and now Find Food Bank is serving 190,000 individuals monthly. Food is essential for human survival. This award presentation has extra significance. In the 20 years these awards have been presented, Find Food Bank is the only honoree to be recognized twice by the City of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission. Recognized for their extraordinary effort to address food insecurity across the valley, please welcome Debbie Espinoza, President of Fine Food Bank, to accept the 2021 Community Service Award. Mabuhay.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Palm Springs Human Rights Commission, City Council members, commissioners. Edwin, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction and highlighting the work that we had done in 2020. I'm getting a little teary-eyed. It's, I'm finding that through 2020, our heads were down, our work was so hard because there were so many people that we need to feed. And now coming into 2021, especially with this award, it's given me time for pause to really think and reflect back in preparation for accepting this award. I think about the sheer amount of work that our Fine Food Bank team did in 2020 without pause. I think about all of the times where we were there 12 to 15 hours a day to ensure that all those that were so dramatically and drastically affected by the COVID-19 pandemic always knew where their next meal would be coming from so that no one would get left behind. And much like many of our partners, our cities and our county and our nonprofit partners and our corporate partners, no one did it for any kind of accolades or acknowledgement. We all did it for the purest intent of helping people understand that human kindness, compassion, thinking about others before self, in order to ensure that people had access, equitable access to food, was there. Even in the most extreme times, we knew that if we could just work together with everyone in this community, that we would be able to show people through action that no matter how hard the challenges were during 2020, we would find a way to come together in order to make sure that we could take care of those in need. You see, food for us at Fine Food Bank has this really amazing and unique way of unifying communities. For us, when it comes to food, it's irrelevant of whatever political party you're with, whatever culture, whatever race, whatever color of your skin, socioeconomic status. Because at the bare minimal, we are all humans and we all can understand from the deepest depths of who we are as people, the meaning of not having access to healthy food. And because of that, like so many cultures, being pulled together to distribute meals to those in need becomes that one unifying factor that makes all of us humanitarians. So on behalf of Fine Food Bank and our 30 full-time staff and our boards of directors, I'm not just accepting it on behalf of them. I'm accepting it on behalf of the hundreds of volunteers that came to our side in order to help distribute food to over 190,000 people each month. I'm accepting it on behalf of all of the cities that came together to support Fine Food Bank, because it wasn't good enough for one city to have equitable access. It had to be all of us in the Coachella Valley Desert area to have equitable access to food during the COVID-19 pandemic, to the counties, to the state governments, to all of the individuals that donated and spoke with their support, their financial support and the food support, as well as all of the businesses and corporations throughout the valley and throughout our Riverside County community. I'm accepting it on behalf of all of us, because during the time when we needed hundreds of thousands of people to be humanitarians to take care of each other, people heard Fine Food Bank's call to be able to create that collective impact to make sure that everybody knew that they had access to food as a human right, and they knew where their next meal was coming from. So thank you so much, Human Rights Commission of Palm Springs, for recognizing Find, but for recognizing all of the community's work to make sure that no one starved during 2020. Thank you.
Excellent. Debbie, do you have your award there with you?
I do.
We have the virtual passing off. There we go. Perfect. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you so much.
Before we get to our next presenter, I just would like to acknowledge we've got another council member who's joining the program today, and Council Member Dennis Woods is with us. So up for our next honoree is our student representative, Ella Cash.
Thank you. As the student representative serving on the Human Rights Commission, I'm proud to introduce our next honorees. 3 young adults, Ina Malik, Areli Galvez, and Jaslina Morgan, have given voice to the disenfranchised with their ambitious youth-driven movement under the banner of Young Justice Advocates of the Desert. On a Saturday morning this past June, they planned a peaceful protest in Palm Springs at Ruth Hardy Park to speak out against the killing of George Floyd and racial and economic inequality. They were joined by nearly 1,000 protesters. Since then, they have worked to raise awareness of systemic inequality, give a voice to those who cannot speak for themselves, and they continue organizing their events, including a Juneteenth celebration. Empowering the voices of youth is helping to bring about true change. Ina, Areli, and Jaslina are on a mission to advocate for social justice by educating the public, mobilizing underserved populations to become politically participative, and to empower youth through education and community engagement. The group understands that to stay silent in face of unparalleled injustice is to be complicit in those injustices. So they continue speaking out and they continue trying to make a change in this world. Recognized with the 2021 Community Service Award for giving voice to the disenfranchised, standing up against racial and economic justice, police accountability, voter engagement, and for lifting others around them, please welcome the leadership team of Young Justice Advocates of the Desert.
I don't know first. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I would like to start by saying thank you to everyone that has supported us through our long journey. And it's not easy always getting up and fighting for what we believe is right or what we think is best for our community. But without the support of everyone that is in this call or the support of our parents, none of this would be possible today. And we would like you guys to all know that we are extremely grateful for everything you have done for us and helping us along this journey of fighting for racial inequalities and the justice that everyone deserves. It doesn't matter what color your skin is or who you are, or what you believe. There is no reason you should not deserve justice, or there's no reason that you should not be able to stand up for what you believe in or go out in public because of the color of your skin or who you love. So this award means everything to us, and we are so thankful.
I just want to take a minute to show my appreciation for this award. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. We wouldn't be where we are right now without all of the support we have received. I'm so proud of our group and the 2 girls for putting all this together and us coming together to do this in the Valley. We will continue to fight for equality and for what's right. Thank you guys so much.
So I wanted to speak for our group as well. First, I wanted to say thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for this award. I sit here before you today as a first-generation mixed-race Muslim American woman. That was a mouthful. My parents came to America for the opportunities and freedoms it offered, and now here we are, and here I am being recognized by the Human Rights Commission. While our work has been uplifted and recognized, I just want to say it hasn't always been popular. When we first began, rumors of us being anarchists and part of Antifa were spread to scare our community into shunning our work. But despite this, my group is here as a testament not only of the strength and passion of our will for human rights, but the integrity of Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley for recognizing our work and backing us every step of the way. From working with Congressman Raul Ruiz and the Chief of Police in Palm Springs, we've served as a prime example of the importance of exercising our First Amendment right. We will continue fighting for social justice. In spite of our toxic political atmosphere, I'm certain and hopeful that my generation will lead the world with grace, empathy, and dignity, and we will not let you down. Thank you so much for this honor.
Yay. So we need the virtual plaque handoff. Do you have your plaque with you? All right, beautiful. Thank you all. Y'all did a great job. Keep up the good work.
I actually
Thank you.
listened. I didn't open mine, so mine is still in the package.
It's going to be a surprise for you then. All right, next we welcome to the mic Commissioner Donna Shepard. Is Donna muted? Donna. I see your microphone is muted, Donna.
I see my mouth moving, but nothing else. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much, Ron. It gives me great pleasure to introduce David Powell. Every now and then we come across someone who leaves a lasting impression, and our next honoree is one of those people. David Powell is recognized for making a difference and helping others through volunteerism. He is a behind-the-scenes volunteer that serves as the backbone of many organizations in Palm Springs. He volunteers at dozens of events and serves on numerous civic committees that impact the quality of life for others and makes Palm Springs a better place. He is the first to roll up his sleeves and volunteer while encouraging others to be involved and engaged in community service. He has been actively involved in a wide variety of local activities, including the Palm Springs Police Chief's LGBTQ Advisory Committee, Harvey Milk Diversity Breakfast, Diversity DHS, Safe Schools Desert Cities, the Community Leadership Council, Outstanding Voices of Palm Springs, Cesar Chavez Breakfast Celebration, Transgender Community Coalition, and Cathedral City LGBT Days. His civic service includes work with the City of Palm Springs Business Retention Subcommittee and the Business Transition and Reentry Task Force. He also serves as the Executive Director of the Desert Business Association, the LGBT Chamber of the Coachella Valley. Recognized with the 2021 Community Service Award for enhancing the Palm Springs community experience through volunteerism, please welcome David Pell.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Chair DeHart and the Palm Springs Human Rights Commission for this recognition. I also thank the Palm Springs City Council for their support of the Human Rights Commission and the work they do to better our communities. It's quite an honor to be included with so many from past years and from those who are honored this year. I'll start with thanking so many individuals and organizations that I have worked with these past years in Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley. Of course, I want to thank my family, my sons, John and Tony, for their support of me for so many years, as well as my partner, Michael, who continues to see what I'm doing is benefiting our community, who also joins me in many of my efforts. Contributing to my community was instilled by my parents, and particularly my mother, Jane Powell, who was the first woman council member and mayor in the city of Daly City. She knew that we all needed to work for others and brought me along on that journey. But I accept this, realizing that I am standing on the shoulders of the many volunteers and community advocates who have come before me in making Palm Springs and our world a better place. I am grateful for your hard work and dedication and your efforts to better the lives of so many people who are our friends and neighbors. I have had a great time volunteering with organizations and at events and jumping in where and how needed. Even though I lead the Desert Business Association, the only LGBTQ chamber in the Coachella Valley and Riverside County, and one of the oldest in the state and country, and work for our members and other small and diverse businesses to succeed and be recognized, particularly now, my activities often pale in comparison to the incredible work of the others recognized this year. I've been lucky enough to have had either direct or indirect connection with each of them, from distributing food to our local families with fine food bank volunteers and staff in the parking lot of the Palm Springs Convention Center, to hiking the beautiful and protected Oswick Canyon. observing the honor and memory on display with the Fallen Heroes Memorial Wall and the work of our local American Legion post, attending the peaceful protest in Ruth Hardy Park, organized so well by our young justice advocates, and enjoying listening to, and yes, dancing to Keisha D's rendition of Uptown Funk at so many community events. These are only snippets of what these people and groups do. So look them up, look us all up, and get involved. Again, thank you so much for this honor and recognition, and I look forward to continuing our efforts safely as soon as possible. And here's my award.
Excellent. Thank you, David. Congratulations. Oh, and we have a comment in chat. Congratulations, Dad. We love you. Oh, that's great. All right, next up, we've got the Vice Chair of the Human Rights Commission, Denise Chappelle.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this evening and for helping us to honor these outstanding awardees who are working for a better world starting right here in our Palm Springs. John F. Kennedy said, "One person can make a difference, and everyone should try." Our next honoree is living proof that one person can make a lasting difference. Jane Garrison's leadership and determination will forever save Oswood Canyon for future generations as a protected open space for wildlife and for those who live in and visit Palm Springs. A love for the city's surrounding natural resources grew within Jane and would soon become the inspiration for hundreds of volunteers and supporters. The result of her work fundamentally affects how people perceive the city, the way people interact with the environment, and how the urban landscape reflects an enhanced quality of life through protected and accessible open space. As president and founder of Save Oswood Canyon, she led the effort to preserve Oswood Canyon, from planning, organizing events, fundraising, and managing the strategic operation. Jane's work demonstrates how exercising the human rights standard of a healthy natural environment can result in an improved standard of living for all, recognized with the 2021 Community Service Award for her leadership and passion for the city's surrounding mountains, washes, open space, wildlife, and other natural resources. Please welcome Jane Garrison.
Thank you so much. I got very choked up. I am so incredibly honored. I'm so incredibly humbled to receive this award in a town that is so incredibly filled with people who do amazing work for the community, for the environment, for other people. It was 5 years ago this month that I went for a hike that clearly changed my life. And I will say there were probably many times in the last 5 years that I looked back at that hike and thought, why did I go for that hike? I just on that hike, when I heard that our beautiful ecological treasure of Oswego Canyon was going to be destroyed for houses, I couldn't wrap my head around it. And I did launch this campaign to save it. But I share this award with the thousands of individuals who got behind me on this quest to save this beautiful canyon that is home to wildlife and is a place that we all can go and breathe and feel the solitude of the desert. People really stepped up. And that was the one thing in Palm Springs that has been proven to me over and over. When you try to buy a canyon and the price tag is $8.6 million and you think, where the heck are you going to find this money? And the community steps up and the city council steps up and the wildlife agencies and everyone who donated everything from $10 to $152,000 to everyone who collected signatures, went to rallies, went to meetings, wrote letters. I share this award with all of you, and I'm so grateful for your help and your assistance. And this year has been a very big reminder that open space is so important. It's so important for us to get outside and have space to breathe and clean air to breathe and places to go when people are feeling depressed. And this canyon, saving this canyon didn't just save a spectacular canyon, because it did, but what it did is it launched an environmental movement in Palm Springs. It inspired me to continue this work, and that is why Save Oswego Canyon will continue the work and our new name as Oswego Land Trust. And we have big projects, one that I can't announce yet that is even larger than Oswego Canyon, that people will be blown away that this land is not even protected yet. And I know now that the community will stay behind us on this work. And I thank the Human Rights Commission for this recognition, for everyone on the Zoom call, the City Council, Mayor Holstead, Jeff Coors, for your support in the subcommittee, all of our donors, our board. I share this with all of you, and go take a hike and enjoy the open space. And remember that when it's gone forever. So we have to do our part. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Jane. Thank you for all the work that you do. Next, we welcome to the microphone Commissioner Flood for the next presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next awardee is Lee Wilson Jr., and I'd like to thank the third Vice Commander at the American Legion for that excellent background about Lee. But I want to just add a few other words. Lee is an educator at Cathedral City High School and serves as the historian for the Palm Springs American Legion post 519. As a member of that post, I can attest that Lee is probably the hardest working person at that post. So his continued efforts to recognize and honor our local servicemen and servicewomen whose lives were lost fighting for our country's rights and freedoms are highly commendable. Inspired after the loss of two of his former students, Lee has devoted much of his time and talent creating the Fallen Heroes banners. They are displayed prominently at the Palm Springs Air Museum to commemorate the sacrifices of 27 local individuals serving in conflicts where the United States has deployed troops. Thank you, Lee, for your strong commitment to community, education, youth, and our military. The Zoom is now yours, Lee. Take it away.
The American Legion is a fraternal organization of military veterans. And one of the greatest things that we do is we take care of each other. We check on each other as buddies, no matter what war, no matter what age. And Lee Wilson, I'm proud to introduce, has been a wonderful historian for us. He remembers our fallen heroes and reminds the community that all must sacrifice and some gave all. Lee.
Thank you, Captain Scott Grasser. Captain Scott Grasser, by the way, Army Special Forces Green Beret, 7 tours in Afghanistan, 1 tour in Iraq. So you want to talk about the real thing, it's right here. Hey, I was part of that human rights rally for George Floyd back last May. And you girls, you young ladies, you just made us all so proud that we're out there. And it was a great experience. And you 3 young ladies just made me really proud of what you guys do together. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for 2 of my former students, Ming's son and Suresh Kraus. Ming's son was a 2005 graduate of Cathedral City High School, and he was killed in action on January 9th, 2007 in Ramadi, Iraq. Suresh Kraus was a 2001 graduate of Cathedral City High School, and he was killed in action on August 12th, 2012 in Kandahar, Afghanistan. Both Ming and Suresh were immigrants to our country. Ming was the first Chinese American born in China to give his life in service to our country during the Gulf War, and Suresh was born in Sri Lanka. And then just another factoid, Jesus Gonzalez of Indio was the first person to give his life in the Coachella Valley during the opening invasions of Iraq back in 2003. Jesus was born in Mexicali, Mexico. That means all 3 of the Coachella Valley fallen heroes that have given their lives to service to our country since 9/11 were all immigrants. And I like to make sure everybody knows and appreciates that fact. I became the historian for the Palm Springs American Legion around 2012. And there's a memorial wall here on the back that's right behind me. And it commemorates the 16 heroes from our area that were killed in World War II. This place was built in 1948. And when I became a historian, I was asking around, who are these guys? What do we know about them? And I was surprised that nobody knew any information at all. So I kind of spent a lot of my summer vacation as a teacher. You got summers off. I started researching all the names on the back wall here. And I've learned that there are a total of 27 from our area, 16 in World War II, 1 in Korea, 8 from the Vietnam War, plus Ming and Suresh. And those are our local fallen heroes. And having Ming and Suresh as my students, I wanted to honor their memory. Well, if you're going to honor them, you got to honor everybody. And so I threw myself on the grenade, as they said, and did all this research, and I found photos and information and their histories. When this COVID stuff is over, please look for us at the Palm Springs Veterans Day Parade, where the Palm Springs Teachers Association proudly honors our Gold Star families and our fallen heroes. And also, the next time you're at the Palm Springs Air Museum, please check out the display that we have. Palm Springs Fallen Heroes display at the Air Museum has a lot of cool photos and memorabilia, certificates, all sorts of stuff honoring our guys. I'd like to thank Mr. Ron DeHart for this opportunity. It's a great, I was really surprised, taken aback that I was getting an award for this. I thought I might be getting an award for like the worst COVID hair or something. That would be fair, but Human Rights Award, I'll take it. I also like to thank Jeff Horton, the commander of the VFW Post 1534 in Desert Hot Springs. I'd like to thank Al Martinez and Scott Grasser from here at the Palm Springs American Legion Post 519. Chad Shipley from the Disabled American Veterans Chapter 66. Chad is out there during Village Fest. We always have a tent out there during Village Fest, you know, in place if veterans need assistance on getting their benefits and stuff. Chad Shipley is the man, and he's a great guy. Look for us, our tent out there once Village Fest opens up. And I also need to thank Greg Kenny and Fred Bell from the Palm Springs Air Museum. And most importantly, the Palm Springs Teachers Association, your teachers. Okay, remember, boys and everybody, we're the ones who teach your kids the Pledge of Allegiance, the national anthem. We take great pride in our jobs. I love my job as a history teacher, and I need to thank the president, Karen Johnson, and the past presidents, Bev Bricker, Mark Ecker, and Herb Cleggett, because nobody has helped me out more with the Fallen Heroes Project than the Palm Springs Teachers Association and your teachers. So anyways, thank you very much. And this is quite an honor. Here's my plaque. And yes, we have one more song coming up from Claudette. And when Ron tells me when it's ready to go, Claudette will take over the piano again. Thank you very much.
You're giving all the surprises in our program, Lee. Thank you. Congratulations. We welcome to the microphone our next commissioner to present our last award for today, Commissioner Terry Andrade.
Thank you, Chair. Well, here in the community and to her many adoring fans, our next honoree is known as Keisha D. You know, often an individual with deep concern for the welfare of others and willingness to help improve their quality of life is called a humanitarian, and Keisha D. Mims is truly a Palm Springs humanitarian. She's been giving back to communities in the Coachella Valley since moving to Palm Springs in 2004. Her love for performing is equal to the love she has for caring for others. Keisha D. has shared her amazing gift in service to others. Her passion, her commitment to entertain has inspired so many, while it's benefited and strengthened our community. When she's not on stage, Keisha is still contributing to the community, advocating for youth by mentoring high school students throughout the Palm Springs Unified School District. Even a pandemic hasn't stopped Keisha from using her talent as a positive force. She recently participated in Project Bread, a virtual concert to benefit musicians who are struggling with lost income. And her humanitarian efforts also include a philanthropic focus via the Keisha D Scholarship Fund. Under her guiding hand, the fund benefits underserved minority students in Palm Springs Unified School District who are interested in pursuing an education in music and the performing arts. Keisha D is being recognized with the 2021 Community Service Award for her positive influence and lasting contributions to our community. Please welcome Ms. Keisha D. Mimps.
Am I unmuted now?
Yep, you're good.
Woo. Hi, everyone. I can't believe I'm so nervous. I sing all the time, but this is, I'm not a speaker. But I do want to thank Terry, and I thank Ron DeHart and everyone on the Human Rights Commission Committee for this wonderful, wonderful honor. I said I wasn't going to cry, and I'm not going to do this. This is truly an honor, and it was just so unexpected when I received the letter. And then in talking with Ron and saying, are you serious? Is this for real? What? Why? Wow. I'm just blown away. I'm a singer, I'm a poet, but I did realize early on that music brings people together. It can bring peace. And I'm so glad that through my music and my musical background and my love for the arts, that it has allowed me the opportunity to get the message of love, support, compassion, caring, and sharing into our community. I tried to use it as a bridge to bring folks together, people that maybe weren't aware of an issue going on with the city or going on with the animal rights, or we need a new animal shelter. And through music and through being on stage, what an honor just to be able to bring people together to say, yes, we can make this happen. And so I am honored to receive this. I believe if we come together as a community, we could be an example. We could be a role model actually for other cities. I mean, we're a small city and I get that, but when it comes to human rights and equality, we can make a huge impact and be a role model for others. I know I'm one person, but I'm doing my best to make a change. I'm doing my best to help where I can help. And I know that for me, it starts right here in the heart. For the rest of us, I hope it starts with your heart and you start to move forward to reach out to the community and help. I started this whole journey meeting Bella DeBall, and who is one of our big, huge community advocates. And Bella would call and just ask, would you like to sing for this or that? Or they've asked, would you come and help? And I wasn't really thinking of any kind of an award. I just knew that voices need to be heard and people need to be represented. And so that's why I went. I thank the community for allowing me to serve you through music. I hope that there's more to come. You can call anytime because I love what I do and I love you and I love the folks that have come out and supported not just my shows, but when I've called and I've said, hey, this is a charity event. I need for you to come. I need for you to bring your checkbook. I need for you to hear this. And those people came, even though it wasn't just a show, it was something else. And I just appreciate all of you that have come out to the show, to those types of events and still gave your support. Appreciate you so much. Thank you. to the council. Thank you to the city officials. You know, thank you for showing me so much love. And I hope I can continue to show the city love as the years go by. I love you guys and thank you so much. Thank you, Mom.
Congratulations.
I got to thank my mama.
Oh,
I'm going to be in so much trouble. Thank you, Mama, for everything. She taught me everything I know. So
your mother is here.
Oop.
that's a good thing you remembered.
Thank you, Mom.
All right, congratulations, Keisha.
Oh,
And thank
oh,
you.
oh, oh.
Oh, the virtual handoff. The virtual presentation of your award.
So beautiful. I hadn't seen it because you told us to wait. It says City of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission presents to Keisha D. Mims this Community Service Award in recognition for promoting universal human rights in quotes, it says close to home, February 8th, 2021. And Ron's signature is on it and there's a beautiful stamp. And there's a little saying here from Eleanor Roosevelt that says, where, after all, do universal human rights begin? In small places close to home.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
And with Keisha's presentation, that rounded up our honorees for the year. You know, we once again congratulate Find Food Bank, the Young Justice Advocates of the Desert, the leadership that was awarded tonight, David Powell, Jane Garrison, Lee Wilson, and Keisha D. Congratulations to all of our honorees, and thank you for the work that you do in our community. Next, we've got a closing song, and we will bring back Miss Claudette Bradley.
Hello, I would like to say that Keisha put it so eloquently. Music does bring us together. And on that note, I'd like to play a little piece from Felix Mendelssohn called On Wings of Song. May it lift you high so that we can do what we need to do to make everyone better and happy and more loved. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Claudette, for being with us tonight. Well, that song brings us to the end of our awards program. And I would just like to close with a few comments, starting with the human rights are not for the domain of the left or right politics. They're there to protect the most vulnerable in our communities, to equalize the imbalances between the powerful and the powerless, and to advance fairness and equality for all of us. In these days, we need to reach back to those we've left behind to ensure that they have a voice and are integrated into all that our society can offer. Every person, no matter their background, has dignity and value. Everyone has human rights, and those rights must be protected. Let's understand the rule of law and the maintenance of human rights are connected together, and of that about 57% of the world's population live outside the protection of the rule of law for basic human rights. That's 4 billion people struggling just to have the rights that we enjoy here in Palm Springs on a daily basis. We can do better. Fundamentally, human rights not only evolve through common law, they reflect community standards, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and equality of all before the law. Finally, as we work to ensure fundamental rights are realized for all, let us in Palm Springs respect and rely on the common sense and goodwill of those who live here, because change happens when we all work together. On behalf of the Commission, our gratitude and thanks to all the honorees who are contributing to the advancement of human rights in their own way. And thank you all for attending the meeting, coming along and supporting your friends and family. We conclude by saying what a privilege it is, and it has been for me and all the commissioners, to serve the city and the community on the Human Rights Commission. And again, special thanks to our city liaisons, Jay Verada and Annie Rodriguez, who keep the commission going strong. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening. This concludes our formal program portion of this meeting. Okay, we will. Is everybody good? Do we need to have a break? We've only gone for about an hour and 12 minutes. So I think we're good. I don't see any head shaking, so we'll keep running. All right, next item we have on the agenda is item 6, an action item for the commission. And background on this action item was provided to the commissioners in your packet today. Hopefully, everybody had an opportunity to read that background so we can move forward on a decision tonight. Are there questions as we start with any of the commissioners, on the background information that was provided? I will introduce, what our purpose is, and what we're after today. Really is at the essence of what this whole presentation was about tonight. It's about protecting human rights around the world, locally, globally. So specifically, we're looking at the United Nations guiding principles on business and human rights. Those are principles that stipulate that states, cities, local governments jurisdictions have the responsibility to set out clearly the expectation that the companies that are domiciled in their territory or jurisdiction should respect human rights in every country and context in which they operate their operations. The guiding principles also provide for a range of policy, regulation, and enforcement options regarding both direct asserting jurisdiction over a company for conduct abroad and domestic measures with extraterritorial implications that have the effect of discouraging, incentivizing, or otherwise affecting a company's global conduct. So our city council on July 26th took an action, and our resolution that's coming forward to the commission tonight is that the commission continues to encourage the integration of human rights principles of dignity and equality into local policy, and that we support the Palm Springs City Council action of January 26, 2021, to not financially support an entity that profits from a country condemned for human rights abuses and violations of international humanitarian law. Now it is, that item is open for discussion if we have any amongst our commissioners. Jay, are we able to take, is everybody seeing Keisha D on the main screen, or is it just me?
Okay, let me find Keisha.
All right, well, Jay's trying to see that right setting there. Any discussion on our, from the commissioners?
Mr. Chair, I just want to say that I think it's an excellent resolution. I personally back it.
Thank you. Any other comments? If we have none, then the resolution that's on the floor coming out of the executive committee in support of council action is as stated. The Human Rights Commission encourages the integration of human rights principles of the dignity and equality into local policy, and we support the Palm Springs City Council action of January 26, 2021 to not financially support an entity that profits from a country condemned for human rights abuses and violations of international human law. All in favor, please indicate.
Aye.
Any opposition? Abstentions? It is unanimous. Jay? Thank you, commissioners. And the second piece of that item is a related item, and it's regarding the mandating a recommendation for City Council from the Human Rights Commission that the city, and this is a recommendation, mind you, right? That the city mandates that public funds not be used to support enterprises benefiting from a country that disregards human rights and violations of international humanitarian laws. So this is a general recommendation that we are sending to the City Council to ask them to incorporate this mindset of human rights principles in our daily business of daily city business. So any questions on this piece?
I have a question, Chair DeHart.
Yes.
My main question is, with this kind of resolution, I guess as a commissioner, I'm always, interested in seeing, since we're looking at an action that the City Council did in January, and as I'm the newest here, one of the newest here, and I guess I'm kind of confused about the process because it sounds like, you know, a decision was made on January 26th, but a lot of times as a commission, we provide a way to, you know, get, you know, we provide some input to what can happen at the city council level. So it sort of sounds backwards to me personally. So I'm wondering, is this to just support that decision, or is that, again, because that decision was already made at city council level, that it, you know, that we're just here to really help support that decision?
Yeah, I think you understand it 100% accurately. So we are sharing with city council that we wholeheartedly support their decision. It just so happens that the item didn't come before Human Rights Commission before it was discussed, you know, on the floor of the council. So what we've just done is we're saying we support our city council's action, and we're taking the next step, which is the second part of what your question was, and we are now making a recommendation to council. So this second item is making a specific recommendation to council to incorporate these human rights principles, to not use public funds with enterprises that benefit from you know, countries with disregard to human rights and that are in violation of international humanitarian laws. So that is a very specific recommendation that we are, as a commission, sending to council. Council hasn't discussed this issue. It's just the recommendation that we're sending forward to council with commission's endorsement.
May I say follow up to that?
Sure.
Just since we're open, I mean, it's open for discussion right now too. I love that there is an urgency that is, you know, in the resolution. I think it's very important to uphold the universal recognition of human rights. And I love that we, you know, Chair DeHart, that you speak about it in terms of the local impact, you know, local and global relationship of universal human rights. And I think what I'm really, I guess I'm concerned as a commissioner is that I wish that level of urgency is put into what has happened, you know, locally. So, you know, I'm just going to give an example. So, and this will come up as a conversation probably later, but we've discussed Section 14. We've discussed how the city hasn't responded to the history of, you know, the Attorney General's memo related to Section 14 in Palm Springs. We need to put that up at the fore. And I'm just going to say that now, just as a general thing, to really give respect. This is Black History Month. Let's talk about the history of Black residents in Palm Springs. It's very, very important. It needs to be at the forefront. And this is what I'm talking about when we talk about the urgency of things in Palm Springs. I want to see that happen. I know that we're going to be working on racial and social equity. I'm one of the commissioners that'll be working on that as well. But I want to see that that's always at the fore. It's not about us telling other folks like, hey, we got to look at other countries and problems that are overseas, or the money that's entangled in that. But I want to think that when we think about Palm Springs and human rights, that we think about those who've been infected directly for the past many decades. And I want to see that at the fore of our thinking. So that's just my statement for this. But I appreciate the work that you put into this resolution, because it speaks resoundingly to the importance of universal human rights. But we need to think about the folks and the families and people who've been directly affected by what the Attorney General in the 60s said was a Holocaust in our own city. Thank you.
Yeah, and I appreciate your comments, and thank you for sharing with the audience and the commission. But I would just like to point out that we certainly opened up today's meeting in recognition of Black History Month, and specifically acknowledging our local committee and the work that they've done in this community for 80 years, the committee and their forefathers and mothers. The other thing that's important is change happens over time, right, Commissioner Romain? And you are on the committee that the city has established, the equity committee that has just been established. That committee will move forward. We have a voice on that committee. 2 members of the commissions will sit on that Equality and Equity Committee, right? So we expect that you will take the voice and contribute to that equity committee and make sure that we're raising these issues of all our neighborhoods with that equity committee, and that we do a thorough job and really address the concerns that are in the community. So we appreciate you serving in that role, and we look forward to action coming down the road. And with regard to the resolutions that the second resolution that we're talking about, public funds is definitely a local issue. Public funds is the local issue that's money that spends and supports our local community. It's the dollars that our community, it's our tax dollars, it's our money that the city is dedicating and spending. So we are asking the city to think very carefully about how those public funds are being spent and incorporate those human rights principles when those decisions about spending public funds are made. So that's what we're doing tonight, is we're sending along that little sense of encouragement to City Council, okay? Any other discussion? All right, I don't see any other discussion. So having no other discussion, let me find my place here, please. So the resolution would be that that will move forward for a vote now, is that the City of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission calls on the City of Palm Springs and the City Council to mandate public funds not be used to support enterprises benefiting from a country that disregards human rights and violates international humanitarian laws. That's the recommendation and resolution that we're moving forward to council. All in favor of the resolution as stated, please.
Mr. Chair, do we have a first and second?
Oh, it came out of committee. And we will go backwards because I don't know if we did the second on the first one. So we've got a second from Vice Chappelle, or a first from Vice Chair. Second?
A second.
Commissioner Flood. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposition? Abstentions? It's universal, Jay. Unanimous acceptance. Okay, do we need to do some homework, Jay, and go backwards on that first and second?
On the first action, Mr. Chair, I did not get a first and second. On the
Yeah, I don't remember. I moved right through it. Y'all were supposed to be watching me tonight.
Doesn't catch
me, right? So let's go backwards, and a resolution in support of council action, as previously stated. Could we have someone to move that resolution? Commissioner Andrade, second. I can't see Commissioner Shepherd, so are you seconding?
Yes, she is, Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Shepherd seconds that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposition? Abstentions? Looks like it was unanimous, Jay.
Thank you.
Okay, now we don't have any other action items on the agenda. So we are at about an hour and a half of our meeting today, and we are at item 7, adjournment. And as we adjourn today, I just would like to adjourn in memory of the 100 Palm Springs city residents who have lost their lives to COVID. And we send our condolences to their families and friends and all who know them. It certainly is a tragedy in our community that we are being impacted at such a degree. So 100 lives have lost. We will adjourn in their honor and encourage everyone to continue doing the safety practices of wearing our mask, wearing 2 masks, washing our hands, and social distancing. It makes a difference. So thank you all. We will adjourn, the commission will adjourn to an adjourned regular meeting Monday, March 8, 2021 at 5:30 via teleconference. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.